thetdshow.com.
There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game.
2 hours of the best sports talk on the planet, or at least out of Edmonton, Kentucky.
Batted up. Outside. Stokely down the sideline. Can he catch him? Stokely. Wow. Touchdown. Denver. Unbelievable.
Coming to you live, your hosts, TJ and Dan.
Here comes the rain.
Welcome back to the program. A lot of college basketball talk today on the show. We have conference tournaments in the NCAA coming up over the next couple weeks. We will also discuss the Arizona Religious Freedom Protection Act bill that has kind of leaked over to the sports world every morning. Sports. I just need to make it a word.
You need to wear some jorts while you talk about your sports.
Anyways, leaking over to the sports world a little bit. A lot more to get to today as well, including Pujols' thoughts on Trout and Griffey Jr.'s lack of thought.
He had a cough attack. Cut the man some break.
We're gonna play that during the show today. Let everybody listen to that if they haven't. Man, that was rough, painful. I have a guarantee regarding Dale Jr. and Dan will provide you with a little what to watch regarding the NCAA tournament coming up. And you can't forget 2 minutes with Paula Dan coming up in the third hour of the show.
Don't forget, you can still reach us on Facebook at facebook.com/TheTDShow. Our Twitter handle is at thetdshow.com, and you can email the show at mail@thetdshow.com. You can listen to us or watch us live at thetdshow.com on the live feed page, and you can still listen to us at Spreaker.com/user/TDShow or on your Spreaker app. If you're listening to us at Spreaker on your Spreaker app, be sure to give us a follow on there. If you're not able to watch or listen to us in your entirety today, you can listen or watch a podcast at the tdshow.com podcast page. Remember, we'll be looking for your comments and questions on our live feed, Facebook, and Twitter. But what we really want to do is get you to give us a call this morning. You can call us at 502-509-3190. That's 502-509-3190. We also like to remind you, today's callers and guests are brought to you by Hoover Auto Parts. Hoover Auto Parts, the most reliable auto parts in the industry, and they're sure to keep you on the road through any extreme condition. Don't forget to vote on our poll. You can do that on our website, or you can just call and give us your thoughts on the poll. We got a hard-hitting poll question today, as TJ likes to call it. Who wins in a fight, Brett Favre or Bryce Harper?
A fist fight.
A fist fight.
There's no like kickboxing or UFC or anything
bare
like
knuckle
that.
brawling, back alley fight.
I guarantee you, only sports talk show this week with that poll question.
I guarantee that's his second. That's his first guarantee of the day, but not his main one. But if you don't know what we're talking about, look at the picture on our homepage. If you're on our live feed page, just flip over to the homepage or open it up in another tab there on your browser and look at them. Pretty swole individuals.
Yeah, Brett Favre has veins coming out of his forearm, like huge.
Well, he is older.
He is jacked up.
That's a man.
And
that's from lifting. He's a farmer now, though. All that forearm strength he gets is lifting bales. I don't know how rice. He farms for rice. I don't know how that works. Maybe it comes in barrels. Picks up barrels.
I'm not real sure. And then we see the secret to if you're looking at our homepage there, you see the secret to Harper's strength gain, and that's Girl Scout cookies.
He's got him some Samoas and some Dulce de Leches, which are my new favorite Girl Scout cookie. If we have any Girl Scouts out there listening.
What were they?
Dulce de Leche.
What is that?
It's a cookie. It's got maybe a little cinnamon vanilla flavor, but it's got hunks of caramel in it. It's good. I mean, I can eat
Samoas myself.
I can eat about 20 at a time.
You know, not to harp on the Girl Scouts, but there's just not as many cookies in those things as there used to be. I mean, I eat those things in like one setting now. I mean, I think
you're just bigger than you used to. I mean, the boxes are the same.
There's like 15 cookies in those things.
In a box of Samoas, yeah, I think it's 3 rolls of 5, maybe.
I think there used to be more. I think we're getting gypped on this somehow.
I don't know. $3.50. I mean, that's not a bad investment.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
But anyway, so maybe if we eat enough, we can look like Bryce Harper.
Or Brett Favre. At least if I could get some of that, they have that Rogaine now that'll put gray in your hair for you.
Yeah, I think that's just for men, not Rogaine.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, whatever. But I think I could grow mine out and get a little just for men and probably look that part at least.
Yeah. You know what Bryce Harper would say about this poll question? Clown poll question, bro.
That's
Clown
right.
poll question.
Well, since we're talking about it, we got it up there on the homepage for everybody to look. Who do you got in a fist fight?
I gotta go with Brett Favre. That son of a gun's just wily.
Yeah, I mean,
Harper might have brute strength on him, but I think Brett Favre can take more hits.
Yeah, and Harper's kind of crazy. Like, he's got that craziness about him that he just go crazy. But Favre's got like that old man wisdom, dad kind of like whipping up on a son
got a little
or something.
John Wayne in him. You know?
I think
You're looking for trouble, I'll accommodate you.
Yeah, I think
Favre.
I think Favre would take him.
I like Brett Favre in a fight too. Just wiliness.
So it's a not so serious but fun poll question this morning.
Yep.
Get on our website and you can see the pictures there. Vote on the poll question or call in and give us your silly answers to the poll question. But we're going to start out this morning with another guy we could probably see getting in a fist fight, and that's Frank Martin.
Yeah. I don't know that he has as much of a chance to win a fist fight as Favre does.
He's suspended from South Carolina's final game of the regular season today against Mississippi State for inappropriate verbal communication with an athlete. And if you've seen it on ESPN or any other sports program
or YouTube, just look it up on YouTube.
We'll try to get that up on the Twitter day with a description as opposed to the link we put.
I'll get it up.
Week.
I'm gonna work on it right now while TJ's talking.
But he essentially looked this player and yelled, "Answer the effing question, a-hole." And you know, from what I've seen from Frank Martin this year, he's been a lot more chill than he was at Kansas State when he was basically like that every play and every time out of a game.
Yeah, he said he knew we'll talk about what he said, but he said he knew he had a problem and he'd been trying to lay off and he just got fired up. I mean, they were getting throttled by Florida.
And if you're South Carolina, though, didn't you know this is what you were getting with Frank Martin when you hired him? I mean, the whole entire time he's been coaching, this is the way he's acted. So you knew when you hired him, this is what you were getting. And another aspect of this is 10 years ago, do you think he gets suspended for this?
I think that if we didn't have high definition TV, we didn't get suspended for this.
There's high definition TV, there's 15 different camera angles, and there's Twitter.
Exactly.
And if you don't have those three things, nobody even knows that he said this today.
No, well, I mean, let's think about a lot of the things that Bobby Knight did.
Exactly.
And a lot of things that Bobby Knight said.
Right.
And he was kind of endeared for it. I mean, people knew that he did it, and he was kind of loved for it. I'm having a hard time finding the video.
Well, we'll get it up during the break. But, I mean, back to my point, if you're South Carolina and you hired this guy, you know coming in that this is what you're getting. You're getting a guy that's yelling profanity at the players, at the refs, maybe even at your crowd. Who knows? This guy's crazy. But another question is, what was Frank Martin doing coming here anyways? He said this was his dream job when he left Kansas State to come here. It was his dream job. Do you view South Carolina's job any better than Kansas State's?
No. South Carolina is not necessarily a place you think about going to be a basketball power. I mean, I could just within the Carolinas, I could think of 4 places I'd rather go than South Carolina. I mean, that's what you say, though, when you go to a team, is that it's your dream job.
Right, but, I mean, that's what you say, sure, but why would you leave? I mean, it's not like he had to take that job. It's not like he was doing well at Kansas State. They were a competitive ball team, a lot more than competitive than when he arrived there.
Exactly, and I think he had actually turned Kansas State around a little bit. We see what they're doing now without him. They're struggling a little bit this year, and I don't know. I don't know why you would want to go to. Well, I mean, you're in the SEC. I mean, that says something. You know, you're going to have your own network. Of course, Kansas State has a network. I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, I don't know. But like you said, he came out and apologized for it. Said it's something that he shouldn't have done, something that he's trying to work on, that he will try not to let happen again. But like I said, if you're South Carolina, you knew that at some point when you hired this guy that this was going to come. But staying in college basketball and staying with controversy, UC Santa Barbara Hawaii game.
This is what I want to talk about. I didn't even mention it to you, but I really did want to talk about this today.
Hawaii coach Gib Arnold gets teed up, and then a fan just comes out onto the court and gets in his face. And the Hawaii players kind of shove him off, and the fan just kind of goes back up into the seats.
Yeah.
And then I heard that somebody that was non-security personnel, a friend or something, kind of escorted him out. But, before he got into any more trouble. But what do you make of this?
I have no idea how that guy got down there. I mean, there's got to be somebody that could keep him from getting to the. I mean, my going to college basketball games, I've only been to games in Rupp Arena, in the Yum Center, and then in Diddle Arena. I'll take that back. I've been to a game in Eastern at Eastern Kentucky, but most of my games have been in the Rupp Arena, Yum Center, or there at Rupp or Diddle. So, and every time there's always, if there's not security around the whole baseline, there's security directly behind the benches. And I don't know how this fella ended up down there. I don't know how. I think he should have been ejected from the game, obviously. I think there could have even been some kind of legal repercussions from that.
Even if you're UC Santa Barbara in Hawaii, I mean, you've got to have some type of security between the fans and the team and the coach.
I think especially if you're those kind of teams that don't necessarily have the tradition.
Right.
It's kind of like people go to Oakland Raiders games to get hammered.
Yeah.
I don't know what the regulations are about alcohol within their stadium, and I guess I could look it up. But it seems to me like this guy didn't have anything better to do that day.
And this is really a growing trend, something that we've talked about 3 weeks in a row.
Fans on the floor causing problems. Yeah, there's got to be some kind of repercussions. I don't know if it's to the school or to the team, but there's got to be.
Even if you're UC Santa Barbara or Hawaii, obviously your athletic department might not have the money to pay security guards, but if you're the institution,
right.
if you're overseeing the institution, you've got to make sure that there's security there. It's on you.
Right. If you are, and even if you're not the institution, I don't know if they play on campus or if they play at a off-campus venue, but regardless, that venue has to have security. I know, especially, we went to Western, and then they had a police officer training program, the Rangers, I think is what they were called. I mean, even if you got those guys, we don't have weapons, but you stand there in jackets and say security, you could do it for nothing. It wouldn't cost much. You've got to make these things a little safer, I think.
Yeah, here's the thing. If we keep seeing this week after week like we have, I know my opinion on it, and I believe yours too, was that we both didn't completely disagree with court storming, that we were
no, it can be done.
But if this is the growing trend and we keep seeing this week after week with controversies with fans on the court, at some point it's going to be illegal. I mean, it can't be done.
And as I said last week and the week before, I think, about court storming, if you want to storm the court, that's fine, but you need to wait till the players leave. You need to, if it wants to be a completely, I don't want to use the word civilian, but you know what I mean, non-athlete involved, you need to wait till the players leave. I think if you're on the playing surface while there are players and officials present, you should lose your privileges maybe for a year to come to games, and there might be a fine on the school.
But I think the way that administrations are going to see this is that it'll be easier just to completely keep people off the court at any time instead of having to decide when and where they can do it.
Exactly. I mean, we might even see the courtside seats done away with.
Right. It's just, I think next year, if we see this 2 or 3 more times, I think next year there won't be any court storming.
You want to know what's going to end it? If we see this during the NCAA tournament, if there's a controversial event like this during the tournament, now there's going to be some court storming, but if there's something where there's a player or a coach involved during the tournament, all the money that the NCAA has tied up in that, there's going to be some kind of a sanction handed down to where the schools are punished enough that they're going to do everything they can to keep people off the courts.
Something related to this, when Duke got beat this week at Wake Forest, Solomon was walking to the locker room and got engulfed by like 50 fans, and that in itself could have been a huge story if he starts throwing punches or something. I mean, that could have been.
I think he had the right to do. Yeah, if it got physical.
But, I mean, good for him. You know, he kept walking, made his way through the crowd. But man, if you're a Duke player and there's 50, legitimately 50 Wake Forest fans just engulfing you.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a rough situation.
I agree.
All that said, going to the NCAA tournament, we've heard it year after year that it's wide open. We've said it for 10 years now.
I always say it.
Always.
Well, I'll take that back. When Kentucky won the national championship back in 2012, I think kind of the consensus was that if they didn't win it, it would be a shocker.
Maybe a little bit.
But with the exception of that.
We say it all the time.
We think about 11 and 13. I mean, UConn coming in 11 and then Louisville running the table in 13. Both of those years were kind of under the radar flying teams.
I don't know that it's ever been more wide open than it is this year. I mean,
agree.
Anybody could win that tournament.
With the exception of what I think are going to be the one seeds we'll talk about later in Florida and maybe Wichita State, everybody else is kind of falling off. Everyone you thought was going to have a legitimate chance to run the table hard has died. I mean, Syracuse has fell off the radar.
Usually there's about 10 teams and you draw a line.
Yeah.
You say those 10 teams got a chance.
Yeah.
But, I mean, except for the conference champions of like 8 or 10 conferences, the other 54 teams could win this tournament.
Easily. Yeah, I agree. And that's something like we said last year. It's who gets their players going. Like Oklahoma State, who's had a rough season. I mean, they've been up and down, but they're hot right now, and they're coming in, and they're going to come in at like, I don't know, a 10 seed or so, and they have just as good a chance to win as any of the 1 seeds, in my opinion.
I know we gave our 5 guarantees last week, but if today you had to pick just one favorite from the tournament, are you saying Florida?
Florida, probably. If I had to stick with one I said last week, I'm going to go Florida. I like them more than definitely Syracuse. I still like Michigan State. I'm okay with Kansas. I don't think they have the ability to win. I don't think they score enough points. And Wichita State I'm unsure about, so I'm going to stick with Florida. And my number 2 guess would be Michigan State of my 5 I picked last week.
I mean, if Wichita State is legit at all, I mean, they have to be the favorite.
Right. If
they're legit at all.
We're going to find out. We won't find out round 1, but we'll find out in the second round.
But we ain't going to find out in their conference tournament or anything of that nature either. But I really cannot remember a tournament that has been this wide open. Like I said, I know we say it every year.
And the thing is there's a whole lot of talented teams. I mean, you look at Duke and how talented they are. You look at Kentucky, how talented they are. You look at Oklahoma State and how talented they are. And you look at Michigan State, and you even look at Kansas and the talent level that these teams have. There's a lot of teams that have a lot of talent there might be more actual basketball talent in the tournament this year than we've seen in a long time, but they're just not playing together. It's just going to be whatever team decides to get hot and play together.
And you know, this year more than ever, there will probably be more complaining from bubble teams who get left out because their records and body of work will be so similar to that who got in. But, you know, it's all on you.
Yep.
All you had to do was look a little impressive, and you could have been at the front of this pack.
Exactly. Well, what's going to happen is there's going to be teams like Gonzaga who are going to get in because they're going to win their tournament. We're going to talk about that.
Right.
But that I don't think deserve to be there. And I think that this conference tournament is going to cause more controversy than usual. Who wins the small tournaments and who doesn't get in, who does.
Right, I completely agree. And I completely agree. I think there will be so much complaining because the 40th team in could be the same record and the same body of work as the 20th team left out.
Exactly.
But once again, it is on them. Because this year, more so than any, all you had to do was win 23, 24 games, and you're in the tournament.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of teams that get in on 18-win season. Now, I'm not talking about postseason wins, but 18-win regular seasons and 20-win regular seasons. Like Oklahoma State, who I think is going to get in, they're going to have 20 wins going in. And I think they're going to get in pretty easily now. And you can't complain because you sucked at the beginning of the year. It's not the other team's fault that got hot at the end. It's all about knowing when to get hot.
Right. I can understand a team complaining when there's about 5 teams where it's kind of iffy, you know, and everybody else in the top 64 has played pretty well, and you're kind of right there with. But when you could have been mediocre like you could have been this year and got in, the fault is all on you. You cannot blame the committee or anybody else except yourself.
Yep. And that being said, that we've got one team in right now, Harvard.
Harvard.
What is their record? Do you know?
I don't know.
I'll look it up in a minute.
Ivy League regular season
Champions, yeah. They don't have a postseason tournament.
which I would completely be in favor for. I think we touched on this a little bit last week. If you wanted to make it the regular season instead of the conference tournament champion.
Yeah, that kind of takes the conference. That would almost eliminate conference tournaments.
Which I still wouldn't be a huge opposition of.
I think that should be left up to the conference to do it, however they want to do it.
Especially,
I say the committee assigns, you get this automatic bid.
Yeah.
Do what you want to with
right.
it.
Well, here's the thing. In the SEC and the ACC, the Big 12, etc.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal, and rightly so, because teams that haven't fared too well in the regular season.
UConn.
Right.
Prime example.
Yes. But when you look at smaller conferences,
Yeah, it's the same generally.
I mean, you could have went almost undefeated during the regular season and not really played anybody outside your conference, and then you lose in the conference tournament and you're done, and this team that won 10 games is getting in the tournament.
They could have never won.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've put all that hard work into the whole season, and you could get left out. That's just my theory.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's something that needs to be left up to the conferences, and we know the decisions within the conferences are made by the coaches and by the athletic directors. And that's something, it's kind of like
But
how
if you're the coach of a team in a conference like that,
you want it to be that in a small conference. Yeah.
Right? Yes.
I don't know if you're the powerhouse team in that conference. You do. If you're the 9 other teams that aren't any good, and
well, right, but who's to say that you won't be better in 3 years? And
right,
I mean, there's a lot of turnaround.
Right. Well, here's when you start to talk about these small and mid-major conferences, a lot of those coaches, I mean, they coach hard and they do their job, but what they want to do is go to another conference. Right. They want to get out of there and get to the ACC or the Big East or the Big Ten. And I
with
think
very few exceptions. I mean, there are some.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at Ray Harper at Western. I think he's as happy as he's going to be at Western. I don't know that he wants to go anywhere else.
Well, Gonzaga's coach. I mean, his name slips my mind, but
right, yeah. I mean, there's some exceptions, but I think most of those people are looking to move on.
And I kind of felt like Brad Stevens would be one of those at Butler, but
yeah,
we saw he took the money.
This is off topic, but I was talking to some people this week, and we were throwing around a list of people we'd like to see come to Kentucky post Calipari. Brad Stevens was on my list.
That's not a bad. No, that wouldn't be a bad hire.
Yeah, well, we'll do that next week. I don't know if we have time to do it today, but we'll do that next week. Who we think maybe 5 best candidates would be?
Let's do it right now. I want to hear him.
Okay, Donovan, obviously.
Yeah.
Izzo.
Let's slow down. Donovan. He's made Florida a pretty good program, especially there in his early years.
But he's already said no to Kentucky twice.
Yeah. Of course, they were, even though they're the number 1 team in the country this year, they don't feel as good as they were when he said no before.
They don't feel as good as they did when they won their back-to-back championships.
Because those teams were really good.
They were awesome. Yeah.
And this team's the best team in college basketball, but they're not near that good.
Yeah, I won a bracket pool in high school on Florida. Billy Donovan owned Florida. Not owned, but coached.
If I was a UK fan, he would probably be my number 1. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Tom Izzo.
Brad
Stevens.
Slow down.
Okay, sorry.
You know I love Tom Izzo.
I think that pre-Calipari we could have got Izzo. I mean, we could have had him if we wanted him. Now I don't know that Kentucky could get him because he's kind of entrenched there.
I really feel like he would have went to UK that last go-around. I feel like there was some want to there.
Yeah. Brad Stevens is my next choice.
Brad Stevens is number 3. I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know that I'd put him in front of Ford. I like Ford.
Oh, that's my number 4.
That's your number 4. I can see that. I think he would leave Oklahoma State.
Oh yeah, he would come to the state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
I don't know that he'd leave Oklahoma State to go to Eastern. I don't know that he'd leave Oklahoma State to go to Western. But Louisville or UK calls, and I think he's gone.
I think, yeah. I mean, he's done a lot for that program in the past few years.
But he's done a lot more for the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, I think he'd be gone. Number 5?
Number 5 is where there gets to be some controversy. My number 5 and others were different, but Thad Matta.
Really?
I'm just trying to throw something different out there.
Yeah, I don't ever...
Lucas, if you're listening, I don't know if you're listening or not, give us a call here in the next 30 minutes. I want to talk to you about it.
Was he a Thad Matta?
No, he wasn't. On Thad Matta.
I don't know that Thad Matta's that good of a coach, for 1.
Yeah.
But 2, I think he's got it made there at Ohio State.
I don't think he's leaving.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's just who I would like to have.
Well, I was trying to be a top 5 that you would want is realistic.
Yeah.
There was somebody I had on the tip of my tongue right before you said that.
I had
motto.
somebody else too, and that's why I want Lucas to call, because he had 3 more that I can't remember right now that were good. Or Baker, if you're listening, either one of you.
We'll go to the break. I'll try to remember who I had on the tip of my tongue, and we'll come back with another number 5 for the UK program.
Okay.
Remember to refresh your browser on Spreaker, and if you're listening to the audio, on the tdshow.com.